Hello everyone. First of all, I introduce myself. My name is Sugundan son of Ponnaya. My matrix number is 23 DLS 19 F1036.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Afruddin bin Muhammad Azin, matric number 23 DLS F1064.
Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Muhammad Adil Bishar Akram. My matric number is 23 DLS 19F1022.
Assalamualaikum and hi guys. My name is Nurul Irayu binti Muhammad Sofian, nombor matrik 23 DLS F1024.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Dasmul Zulfi. My number matrik is 33 DLS 90 F1048.
First, in industrial action can either be protected or unprotected. The concept of protected action and a limited right to strike within a bargaining period were introduced in the industrial relations. So, the Workplace Relation Reform Act 1996 then introduced prohibitions on industrial action during the life of an agreement and payment during strikes. Example of strikes that occur against Top Glove Malaysia is Malaysian Glove Manufacturer, including WRP, and also the Top Glove Company, who supply medical and rubber gloves globally, have been accused of mistreating workers, allegedly subjecting migrant workers to forced labor, forced work time, debt bondage, withheld wages, and also the passport confiscation. In nutshell, previous media investigation of Top Glove found migrant workers subject to passport confiscation and also the illegal withholding of pay, restrict freedom of movement and more. In conclusion, I hope you guys understand what is demonstrate industrial action. That's all from me. Thank you everyone.
Industrial action can either be protect or unprotect. The concept of protect action and a limited right to strike within a begun period were introduced in the Industrial Relation Reform Act 1993. The Workplace Relation Act 1996 then introduced prohibiting on industrial action during the life on an agreement and payment during strike. The purpose of taking protect industrial action is so that employers or employer can support and address their claim during the gain in relation to a proposed enterprise agreement. The distinction between protect industrial action and unprotect industrial action is important due to the consequences that flow from the classification of the action. Where industrial action protect, a limited immunity applies, meaning that the remedies that might otherwise be sought in relation to the industrial action are generally not available. Industrial action which is not protect may be stopped or prevented by the Fair Work Commission making order and the enforcement of this order by the court. For the example, the performance of work by an employee in a manner different from that in which it is customarily performed, or the aberration of a practice which results in a restriction or limitation on or a delay in the performance of work. The term the performance of work is not restricted to how the task associated with a particular job are performed. It involves, for example, when work is performed, where work is performed, how work is performed, and the condition under which work is performed.
Picketing is a form of protest in which people will gather outside their place of work or a location where a protesting event was occur. Usually, picketing was held by the employees to discourage other employees from going to work. But it also can be done to attract public attention to know more about the problem in the company. Normally, picketing is a non-violent protest that can be held before or after working time. Usually, picketers can only discourage other employees from going to work, but they cannot preventing them from going to work or messing up with their works. Picketers also have to go to work even though they don't like to go to work, and they also cannot use their working time to go and demonstrate. Next, I will explain about the two types of picket. first is the mass picket. Mass picket is an attempt to bring as many people as possible to the picket line to support the demonstration. It is primarily being used as a symbolic of unsatisfied workers who demanded change in their workplace or to bring up justice to their employers for their wrongdoing. Due to a massive number of people that could join the demonstration, mass picket could turn out to be very unlawful and very dangerous. For example, in UK, mass picketing was made illegal under the Trade Dispute and Trade Union Act 1927 after the 1926 General Strike. The Trade Union and Labour Relations Act 1992 gives protection under civil law for picketers who are acting in connection with an industrial dispute or at near their workplace who are using their picketing peacefully to obtain or communicate information or persuading any person to work or abstain from working. The second type of picketing is secondary picket. Secondary picketing is the picketing of location that directly connected to the issue of protest. Secondary picketing was used by people who are not satisfied with a product or with the company that produced the product, with the intention of stopping the production of the product or an attempt to close down the company. Sometimes the secondary picketing was held just because of the poor quality of a product or just because of the price. Secondary picket were also used by people to justify a certain issue. For example, people will use secondary picket to demonstrate against certain issues like political issues, cultural issues, and religious issues. It could turn out to be very unlawful, and sometimes can also turn out to be striking.
Okay, next I will explain about the method of industrial action. It is strike. Strike action, also called labor strike or simply strike, is a work stoppage caused by the mass refusal of employees to work. A strike usually takes place in response to employee grievances. Strike became common during Industrial Revolution when a mass labor became important in factory and mines. In most countries, strike action were quickly made illegal as a factory owner had a far power more than workers. Most Western countries party legalized striking in the late 19th or early 20th centuries. Strikes are sometimes used to pressure government to change policy.
Lockout means closing place of employment, the suspension of work, or the refusal by employer to continue employ any numbers of persons employed by him. It is declared by employers to put pressure on the workers. The lockout happens when strike is raised on part of the employees. The purpose of lockout is to put pressure on union by reducing any numbers of members who are able to work